I used to think that people, they'd tell me stories about Pele, and I'm like, yeah, right. There's a goddess that lives here, a prehistoric goddess before the beginning of time. She created the islands by sticking her stick into the earth, and it would foam up with lava and create these islands. And she went from, the whole chain was created because Pele moved around a lot when she wasn't happy or had a fight with her sister. Oh, the ocean. Anyway, went on like that forever. And then I started to hear true stories, people that said they met her. And I began to think this is not just some fabrication or projection of the human psyche onto a phenomenally powerful natural observance. No. There actually is a presence. There actually is a Pele. And it walks around still on these islands where it has walked around since the beginning of time. And now we enter into three stories. Real stories. True stories. I'm in Hilo on the Big Island. I'm telling stories in a little side bar, little venue. Things are going well. At the end of the show, a friend comes up to me, Kate Shurish. Now, Kate Shurish is a puppeteer, a musician, lots of nature stories. She's been performing for years, Puppets on the Path. I've known her for a long time, and it was good to see her. And she came up to me. I must have told Pele stories. She came up, she said, okay, I got one for you. She starts talking about how she has two friends. They're pig hunters. She said, these guys are solid. I mean, you hit them, hurts your hand, muscle. And when they go hunting for pig, and they do it every weekend, they don't go like with guns. They go with bow and arrow so that they can shoot the pig, trace its bleeding carcass into the woods for miles and miles and hours and hours. And when they find it, slit its throat, bleed it out till it's dead. Then on the spot in the woods, they cut out the guts, throw it over their back, bloody and smelly with flies, and trudge back the many miles and hours till they get to their truck. They do it with dogs. The dogs all know the routine. They don't interrupt. And they throw these pigs on their car if they caught any, take them home. Now, when they get home, their wives know. It's a mess to clean a pig. You got to take off its skin, flay it, section it up. They won't let them in the house. So these two guys have built a shed on the back of their property, just a corrugated roof and a couple of sides, cement floor, lots of running water, and a butchery table where they cut up the pigs and skin them. They had two pigs that day. They brought them in to the butcher's shed. They had their knives. Now you got to cut, peel off the skin, cut, peel off the skin, cut, peel off the skin for the whole pig. Cut off the hooves, can't use those. Cut off the head, take the parts of the brain, the eyes if you want to eat those. But it's basically the meat that you're after. It takes a long time. You have running water because there's so much blood. So they're working on their pigs. They're taking away the skin. The blood's everywhere. The water's running. The kids are in and out. They know this routine over and over. The floor is sticky and red with the tides and eddies of blood and parts of gooey pig. Kate told me that her friends told her that as they were butchering, all of a sudden one of the little kids, 5-year-old, said, "Hey, Auntie, you can come. You can come. Stay with us. Come." Eh? They both turned around. Now the shed has a corrugated wall on 1 to 3 sides, but there's doors on both sides between the corrugated edges. On one side, she comes. They said she had wild gray hair, very thin, very commanding eyes. Never said a word. She just was there. They were like, "Oh, gee," freaking me out, man. This woman came in, looked at the pigs, looked at each of them, back to the pig, the other pig, and she slowly moved across the back corrugated wall of the shed never saying a word. She got to the other side of the shed, disappeared out the door. Oh, you know that lady? I don't know. Isn't that your friend? No, my friend. I never saw her before. Who the heck was she? I don't know. That spooky freak. Yeah, whoa, intense, man. Yeah, I don't know. Then the 5-year-old said, look, Daddy, the blood, the floor where she went walk. Now that floor, the blood still starts to coagulate. So they've got on big plastic boots because your boots stick to the blood on the floor. But where the woman had come and passed from one side of the room to the other and gone out the door, there were no tracks. Nothing touched that ground. The woman floated across that room. For real. Pele. She ate the pig. Yeah. She came to check it out. Yeah. And I said, Kate, that's a great story. I'm going to tell it. She said, wild, yeah? I used to run the Talk Story Festival. It was the biggest storytelling event in the state. I didn't want it to be a little tiny, oh, storytelling is so good for kids, like something you have in a library. No, I wanted rock and roll. I wanted everybody to be there. There were a million people on a wall who I couldn't figure out why they didn't all want to come and hear storytelling. Awesome! I did everything I could to try and promote the audience. I was like a shotgun. Everything that produced a note that went to people who might have ears, who might understand English. That was my target audience, and I wanted them to come and hear stories. I recorded everything. I put it on the videos. I put out TV shows. I made radio shows, everything. Because storytelling is good for humans. It makes us alive and more empathetic with other human beings and living things. To the point. I'm at Chaminade University. Now, I've done this every year. I ran it for 27. So I know where the boxes for the teachers are. I know where the office is. And I go right in, and I've got a lot of things to do. So I'm off, house on fire. I've made these little flyers introducing the Talk Story Festival. And I'm like, in the teachers, they've all got little envelope, inserts, boxes, and from the back I can just go down the road. I'm putting the notices in the boxes so they can get the note, extra credit, go to the Storytelling Festival and give me a report. That's my idea. Anybody who might be interested, I'm there to alert and invite you. I'm going down the boxes. You know that voice from behind me. I know it's the secretary, and I know I haven't asked permission. Can I help you? Good. Uh-oh. I turn around. There she is, a local lady, little no neck, kind of roundy, a little bit scowly. I say, hi, Talk Story Festival's coming up. Friday night is Spooky Stories, and Saturday night, Hi'iake Kapolo Pele. It's a Hawaiian epic. You'll love it. It's a cheap date, free. She takes the flyer. She goes, Friday night spooky? Hawaiian Saturday. Yeah, Friday night spooky story, Saturday night Hi'iake Apollo. Now I can see in her eyes, because I've seen it so many times, she's got a story. She doesn't know who I am. Maybe she wants to tell it, but maybe not. She doesn't quite know me. I can see the... Do you have a story you want to tell me? She say, this happened on the Big Island. It was my brother and his friend. My brother and his friend, they was on the Big Island. They was going from Hilo to Kona on the Saddle Road. Now, everybody you say Saddle Road to on the Big Island goes, ugh. So I want you all sitting there at home to go, ugh. Every time I mention Saddle Road, ugh. People go like that because everything weird happens on the Saddle Road. It's not like now. Inouye died. A lot of money came to Hawaii. They built a nice big freeway kind of a mainland road that goes and connected Hilo and Kona. But it wasn't always like that. In the time in which this happened, it was a stinky little road that meandered up the mountain across the top of the floodplain between Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa. It came to the other side and went down the other side through the pastures. It was a treacherous road. And there were no street lights and hardly any curbs. Most people drove down the center of the road where there was still I've been on that road where it was so much fog, you literally couldn't see. And had to wait for the fog to move before you could inch forward along that meandering little road, up and down, up and down. And there's lots of stories about weird stuff happening on the Saddle Road. So when she said, this was a true story that happened to my brother. He told it to me. He was with his friend, and they had a rental car, and they was going on the Saddle Road. I went, They was going in the rental car, and they was going, and they came to a straightaway. Not that many. And that by the headlights was pointing out, and in the end of the straightaway, they could see her. One lady in the middle of nowhere, with that explanation, miles from everywhere else. One lady was standing there, had a lava all red, and she was standing by the side of the road, not even moving. And she had this kind of look like her hair was hanging down, and she just limp and all this like. My brother is driving. His friend go, hey, that's Pele. That's Pele. She wants a ride. Well, that's Pele. I don't want her in the car. I'm not stopping for nothing. I'm getting out of here. And he steps on the gas. The headlights. They're speeding along. Nothing to watch. So they're watching the lady. The secretary at Chaminade University told me that the two boys, riveted young men, watching this woman as they passed. She said, you know how like the headlights is going straight ahead, but right at the corners, the thing, as you get close to everything, anything that moves, you can see them real clear, right? They're watching the lady, and as they just starting to get up to her to go by her, she starts to move for the first time. They say she pick up her hands. She part the hair. And for the first time, just as they passing her, when the light most intense, they can look at her and her face is revealed to them, and they can see her as they jet by. You see that? You saw that? I saw that. You see that? I saw that. You're probably wondering the same thing I was wondering. And you would probably, if you were in that situation, ask the same thing that I asked. I said, well, what did they see? And the Chaminade secretary told me that her brother and her friend driving as they are passing the woman, and you remember, and they both get a really clear view of her face. My brother say, when they see her face, no eyes, no nose, no mouth. They both say, the face of the woman with the hair stay lava. lava. Pukas all over, like stone, the face of stone lava, and they both go like, you saw that, I saw that, you saw that. For real. That's what my brothers told me when they was going over the Saddle Road. Thanks a lot. If you're free Friday night, Saturday night, Talk Story Festival. And the story that she told to me, I just told to you. Second story of the Saddle Road. I'm a storyteller. I travel a lot. I love to go to other islands because I have adventures I don't have here. I'm finishing up. It was in Kapa'a. It was a perfect little school. Small classrooms, computer classes, hula. They had a swing down by the river in the backyard that went over the river. It was small, excellent, beautiful. The kids came to school on their bikes with bare feet. And the teachers loved the school. Now it's a health food store. But at that point, it was a rockin' private little school for private, well-endowed parents. And they had a storyteller. Me. And I was rocking that room, and I was a rock star. And they came up and they said, "You're wonderful." I went to the front counter. The secretary said, "Here's your check. You're a rock star." I said, "Yeah, I know it. Thanks for the check." She said, "Are you free this afternoon?" I said, "Why? What do you got in mind?" "Well, there's another school, and I called them and I told them how wonderful you are, and they said they're free this afternoon if you've got time to tell them stories." "Oh, what? Tell me about the school." "Well, they don't have any money. They're the immersion school." "Immersion school, they speak Hawaiian and English?" "Yeah, they don't have any money, but they've got time. They love stories." "Well, I don't speak Hawaiian." "They don't care. They like stories." "Okay, I'll do it." She said she had to leave me because it's such a rare place. So we went back towards Lihue, up and down and up and down and up and down. We're going up out of a valley. She turns right, I follow. We're going down a rutted road. We finally come to a little wider field, you'd call it, sort of some grass, a big tree, some cars in one corner, kids around. She circles around the tree and goes, "Have a good show." I pull in. As I'm pulling in, I notice all the kids are running. I get out of my car and I walk towards two Quonset huts with a corrugated roof in between. As I walk up, the kids are lining up. And as I come to the school, they chant a welcome in Hawaiian. Wow. Well, they all gathered, about 50 kids, under the corrugated roof between the Quonset huts. I told them a story, must have been a Pele story, something. I say, "I don't speak Hawaiian, but I got stories." They're like, "Shoot, cobra." I talked for about an hour. At the end, everyone, they chanted as a group a thank you, and each one came up and shook my hand. Well, after I was milling around, sort of hanging out, now I wouldn't mention her, except she was the one who came up to tell me this story. There's no reason why you can't have a blonde girl in a immersion school who speaks fluent Hawaiian and English. It's Hawaii. We all fit in. If you want to speak Hawaiian, cool, why not? But this woman was the only blonde high school kid, maybe 14, 15, in an ocean of brown skin, black hair, Hawaiian, local, Filipinos maybe. But she wasn't just blonde. She was like Iceland blonde, like white blonde, no eyebrow blonde, blonde, white, long hair, 14 girl, becoming a woman, pubescent, chewing gum. She comes walking up to me. "My friends say I should tell you this story." "Oh, cool." So my uncle, I must have heard him tell it like 300 times. Every time we have a family meeting, he tells this story. drinks a few beers, gets into the story. Eventually, I heard it so many times. And at the end of the story, he always crying because just to remember the story freak him out still. So my uncle say he on the Big Island, he rent a car and he going over the Saddle Road. The headlights, they're like stabbing into the darkness. And he come around a corner and he see her. Old lady, hair all kapakahi, got on a mu'u dress in red. She barefoot in the middle of nowhere, and she's smoking a cigarette. And she see him coming, and she stick out her thumb. She like a ride, right? Hitchhike. My uncle see her, and he get uji. He feel all the spooky kind inside. He go, oh, that's Pele. That's Pele for real. And she want to ride from me. No way. I don't want that lady in the car. Step on the gas. She's standing there still. He's like, looks in the rearview mirror. Oh, it's for real. Pele, I met Pele. Headlight stabbing up and down for miles and miles. Comes around a corner. Further down the road, waiting for him, the same lady, hair all kapakahi. She looking at the car. She got stink eye. She not happy. And she got her cigarette. And she see him, she go. Step on the gas. The lady. Look at the baby. Several miles later, the headlights turn a corner and they light up a lady. Wild hair, eyes on fire, chugging on that cigarette like it's a food group. And she goes, you, me, ride. Stop. Stop. Now he's looking at the side. And just a part of the story where my uncle started for cry. Because as he driving by the lady, he say, should go by, right? Past the lady, he should go by. But no. He say, is like he drive into one bubble. No sound, no motion. He in the car, pressing on gas, go, 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 looking out the window, and he see the lady outside. But the car no go. Come on. And what my uncle say he see is that on the other side of the window, outside the passenger door, stay the lady. She lean in. She take one huge drag on her cigarette and she spit it out like one giant cloud. The cloud of smoke hit the window. And for 1 minute, he no can see nothing. And then everything exploded. In the car. And he looked behind him in the car. Nobody there. Nobody there. I must have heard him tell it like 200 times, and every time he cried. Because when he remembered how Pele, when scare him, stopped the car and blew smoke in his face, still freak him out, brother. Thanks for the stories. Bye. Three true tales told to you. Pele walking between the two men, butchering the pigs. Two stories of the saddle road. One, do it with me. Number two. True. I would never dare to tell you these stories and say they were true unless they were. Because in the world I live in, we take our goddess very seriously.
Thank you.